Be close to the microphone when
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast session. As usual, today I'm not alone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Isa, and I'm working at Socio-Economic Institute for Advanced Studies. Today I'm with guests. I would like them to start by my left side to start by introducing himself to our followers.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Mushimimana. I work at SIAS, Rwanda. SIAS is Socio-Economic Institute of Advanced Studies in Kigali.
Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
We have also another special guest. I hope it's your first time to see him on our podcast. So I would like her to represent herself to our followers.
Dr. Dunia Ahmed, I'm the Vice Chancellor for SIAS here. And yes, I work in social science issues.
Okay, welcome to our podcast. We are our Vice Chancellor of SIAS. First of all, our followers are always eager to know about SIAS. Dr. Dunia, what is SIAS? What's the idea behind creating SIAS?
Oh, the idea behind SIAS, it's a long story. It goes back for the founder, Dr. Mohammed Bouhaji, where we were first working. He used to work a lot in socio-economical issues and different things from different aspects, and how we can arrange things and solve problems from different multidisciplinary perspectives, and nothing to be solved from one point of view or one speciality or one perspective. And then from there, one of the studies that he'd done at that time was about, and one of his main interests, that it was the inspiration economy, that it's part of socio-economical issues, where we've done the biggest study to see how why some people are more inspired or no, and how we can solve a problem in different things. So this concept was developed over 8, 9 years. Now we are 2024, so I'm trying to count the years. So over the last decade, it was developed, and lots of publications and books came around, where we found that, yes, really, most of the problems are socioeconomical things that we need to, whatever is the problem, medical, environmental, you name it, always the socioeconomical perspectives is there to be studied from. So from there, as we established lots of projects, NGOs, publications, papers, institutes, different institutes, we said that we need to have this academic arm. We did, Dr. Mohammed had some programs that were taught in academic institutions in regards to inspiration economy and different things, but we wanted to establish our own program for master and PhD regardless. And as it is a socio-economical concept, we were thinking that you don't want to do it in countries that are capitalism in the way of thinking, or they think in one point from this perspective. So one of our targeted area was really Africa. So where there are lots of a problem, because we say the more problems you have, the more you can tackle these problems. So, and
Okay, Vice Chancellor of SIAS, you have been telling us that your approaches will be spreading all over the world. By now, what steps have been made?
okay, I didn't say that our approaches are spreading. We want them to be spreading around the world.
Okay.
Do we have tools for it? As I told you, yes, we do have our publications. We do have our different NGOs, MOUs, partners that we are hoping of. And this from here, where we hope to establish our academic institution, where the students can come from all over the world. As you know, it is going to be blended as we are hoping, so people from all around the world can attend here and then apply it in different regions and continents.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Dr. Emmanuel, SIAS is currently operating in Rwanda. And like you say, you have also told us that you are an expert in leadership, if my mind serves me well. So how do you think SIAS will impact the Rwandan community?
Well, I'm not only an expert in leadership, but also I studied governance and development, and my perspective is on political economy, especially in the Great Lakes region and the East African community, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Uganda, in terms of economy and mining. So I see that the perspective of the Institute of Socio-Economic Development is that we need to have a proactive approach, especially in outreach. How can we help people to develop? How can we make projects with different stakeholders, NGOs, and other researchers and academicians in order to reach the people and to help them in terms of development? We can use different perspectives like capability approach of Martiasen. We can have also empowerment approach like Grameen Bank perspective of Muhammad Yunus. These are the approaches that we can use in different ways to strengthen the SIAS outreach programs. Of course, we use both for academic but also project-oriented activities in the institution so that we have an impact in the community. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Emmanuel. Thank you for your explanation. Dr. Dunia, I would like to know, now SIAS has not yet been accredited. What is it busy with nowadays?
This question is something that you should answer, not me. You know about it more. You are here based on SIAS.
But our followers needs a clear answer from you as the Vice Chancellor.
So as I said, we are busy with our publications as usual, and the name of SIAS this, and I think the workshops and things that you are running here.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So are you also planning when you get accredited to open in another country or?
Yes, sure, definitely, inshallah. As we say, that this will be one hub, but we wanted always to start in the center of Africa at the beginning.
Okay. So are you not afraid of having people who want to compete with you by imitating you? So
if you read enough about an inspiration economy, we don't even afraid from competency. We always think competency strengthens us. It's always about feeling abundance, or it's how we are thinking. This is a type of the capitalism way of thinking, that I'm always afraid from my competency. But what we see in inspiration economy, when you are competing me, you are strengthening me because I become stronger. And then if someone can copy me exactly, that means they have learned enough from me. And now it's time for me to create a newer thing. So our wish and a dream, so more people can create such things so we can move on. It's not about we want to keep it only for us. And that's meaning that day that we are stopping from developing ourselves. So, and this is one of the main concepts of an inspiration economy.
Okay. You are bringing up new approaches, which is called bottom-up approach, which is totally against capitalism, which is mostly in the world. It's mostly practiced in the world. Do you think it will be easy for the people to adopt themselves to that new approach?
It's, as you said, it's approach. It's not a word. I mean, and even capitalism and part of the history, if you go and how they try to apply democracy around the world or whatever, I don't want to talk about these historical things. They use that we are using bottom top, but without giving them the enough tools to prove for them that this theory will fail. What we are trying to do in inspiration economy, that when we want to apply the bottom up, it's not to let the bottom up only do, we want to give the tools for the bottom so they can work. So here's the difference. It's not only a slogan, it's how we want to apply it. And here is the difference between us and capitalism, and where we hope when everyone, you are in the top or bottom, if you have the enough tools and you know what you want to do, then you can do it.
Okay, thank you so much. So, inspiration economy is being applied in developing countries, not developed countries, and those countries have a high level of illiteracy. Even the educated people are fewer compared to how it is in developed countries. Do you think it will be difficult for the people of those developing countries to adapt themselves to inspiration economy? Do you think they will understand it easily? Because, I mean academic ones, in terms of academic.
Well, I think in terms of academic, people from developing country can learn much on inspiration economy. And because inspiration economy and other new concepts we are raising, like resilience economy, are typically formed for developing nations, especially. Why? Because we not only learn from the developed ones, but also we need homegrown solutions to kick off. Yeah, because most people think that developing nations have no things to rely on, but there are a lot of things. For instance, non-financial capital, they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of energy, they have a lot of natural environment, which is still natural and which need much more use. I want to avoid the word exploitation. But when we talk about inspiration economy or resilience economy, here we understand the merge of the two epistemological approach. When we talk about two epistemological approach, we are talking about developmentalism and also post-developmentalism. There are a lot of scholars in the South, or like Latin American scholars, and also other scholars in the North who embraced the post-developmentalism. The approach is that the developing nations can use their own resources to avoid, for instance, the key issues they have on dependency, the dependency syndrome, and the dependence on aid, and the dependence on other activities. Countries can learn much about how to overcome dependency syndrome, how to overcome poverty, how to overcome insufficiency in food. Those are things, the approach, as she mentioned, on the bottom-up approach. How can we use the homegrown solutions to have a national or community level solution to the poverty and the problem of underdevelopment. So these are the key points we are raising, especially on the last publication we did on self-sufficiency assessment on Rwanda. We see that Rwanda has been using a lot of homegrown solutions that other countries can learn from Rwanda in terms of finding the self-sufficiency through homegrown solutions. How can we apply traditional methods, for instance, to solve justice issue in the society, for instance, Gacaca Court? How can we use Umuganda, Ubudehe, all those activities related to community work and community progress without necessarily relying on aid? And Rwanda has been successful a lot in terms of using homegrown solution in different aspects of development of society. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel. Dr. Dunia, I would like you to add something to what Dr. Emmanuel has said.
For me, I don't think that socioeconomical issue, although we say we want to apply it more in Africa or in different continents, I mean, a theory can be applied all over the world. I mean, even if I'll go back to his previous answer when he said about Muhammad Yunus, for example, a theory, although it was developed in Bangladesh and certain countries, the second one of the best countries that also it's applied in, the microfinance, for example, it's in New York, because there are lots of, slum seekers and poverty also there, although it's one of the top cities in the world and developed. So regardless you are developed or underdevelopment or developing country, it's first thing the willing to do. You know how to do it, you know the techniques, there are beliefs of doing it, you really want to get out of thinking with the capitalism point of view, and then there will be always community that's are in need of it. So yes, here maybe we can, general study, you can see here in the Central African countries, there is a more need of it, but doesn't mean that it's the only place that's need. Everywhere in the world, there's a need for it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Exactly. For instance, most of the developed nations now are using some of the officers, resilience officers in different domain. We have multinational companies that are hiring resilient officers in terms of economy and see how they can predict the issues of financial crisis or economic crisis, or maybe the problem of restructuring the economy when the institution have a problem. For instance, most of the cities now are relying on our theories on resilience economy to see how they can, for instance, exchange idea on how to accept migrants, for instance, how to teach people to accept migrants from all over the world, how to teach people to use renewable energy apart from the toxic use of carbon dioxide emissions. So those are theories of resilience economy that even developed nation can use. Yes, when I say developing nations can learn much from this theory, but also developed nation can of course use the opportunity to grab this opportunity to say, okay, we didn't reach the total level of development. No human being can reach that level, but how can we embrace new theories, incorporate them in our new agenda or new program to fulfill the gap they have already had? Yeah, I think it is both developed and developing nations, I agree. But mostly developing nations shall benefit a lot because sometimes they are in dilemma. How can we use a developmental approach which is already known by classical economists, or we have to trace or use both classical economist approach and also a new economist approach, especially on resilience and inspiration purposes, or maybe post-militarist approaches. I think that is the stand. And most of the successful nations nowadays, like Rwanda, when you trace with the study, you find that they use both the approaches, and it's becoming very successful there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel, for your insights. Vice Chancellor Dr. Dunia, you have pointed out that SIAS has taken a step of doing some more writings and publications. How many books or papers that have been published so far in terms of pioneering the concept of inspiration economy?
A lot. I can't say the number top of my head. I know we have hundreds of papers and tens of books, different books. As a librarian, should answer this question as well. But maybe the most important, more than not only having the publications, that our publications are well cited. Maybe also this is the most important aspect. That means that's the concept of spreading around the world. People are reading, not only reading it, but citing it. And we hope in the long run it will do a movement.
Okay. Thank you so much. SIAS has some partners. So how is it collaborating with its partners just to develop its development or to enlarge its image within the community? How is it collaborating with its partners?
Yes, again, maybe I think still you're asking me questions about SIAS that you should know more about. And you should ask the guest something things that you don't know. I mean, I know it's one of our techniques is MOUs, having relations. Now we are since our first visit to Rwanda was on July 22. So now we are closely to be 2 years, and since then we have lots of MOUs. We visited lots of NGOs. We tried to build these partnerships with different entity academics and non-academics, and this is one of our techniques that we use all around the world. But
yes. Well, on the first point on the publication, we have a number of publications now on resilience economy and spiritual economy. You can find us on Google Scholar or maybe
ResearchGate.
Amazon or ResearchGate. If you click on Dr. Buheji, Mohammed Buheji, who is the founder of this institute, you will find many books about.
And even SIAS has an account in Google Scholar.
Yes.
That's the publications are there.
And but also if you click on my name also, Mushimimana, and add Dr. Buheji and or Dunia, Ahmed, you may find a lot of publication on inspiration economy. There is like 5 books, if I remember well, on inspiration economy, resilience economy. But since we started SIAS Rwanda, we have a number of publications which are like 10 publications. I mean, in terms of articles, we have an article on resilience economy on Rwanda, and we have an article on homegrown solution, which is a book chapter on Gakinjuru cooperatives. Yeah, done already previously, already published. We have also another recent publication on self-sufficiency economy of Rwanda, assessment of achievements, challenges, and way forward, and which is very interesting. You can also find it online on self-sufficiency of Rwanda. There is, if you go to Google and click self-sufficiency of Rwanda, you find this article. Yeah, I think so far the publication-wise and research-wise, we are at a very good pace. Actually, we are trying to develop what we call Africa Development Lab. So you can find it on SIAS website, but also on Google Scholar. I think that's in such time. But in terms of collaboration, on the second question, we have collaboration with more than 10 NGOs. And the recent one is an MOU with Yomadu, Youth Mentorship Organization. They try to do a lot of activities on youth development. We have an MOU also with Tree Rwanda, which is concerned with HIV people living with HIV in terms of helping them to build themselves and continue life without problems. And other different NGOs and association related to women empowerment and also linked with elimination of poverty. So these are things that we have been doing actually recent few years. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. One of the programs that the SIAS is also currently working on is women empowerment. Why did SIAS decide to put women empowerment as one of the programs? Dr. Dunia.
Okay, I mean, you can't have now anything without having women in. I mean, the word. Go out to the street, you will see men and women are there. So if you want to work in anything, regardless whatever it is, I mean, women issue is always implemented there. It's only the way that we need to address it, to know it, how to work with these different groups. And because also one of the things when we work about, for example, if we're talking about poverty, unemployment, employment issues, lots of these things, you will always see that women are more affected. If you want to see who can contribute more to environment or this, you can see women are always more working in these things. So as you can see, by default, that women are more targeted group, and women also she can more influence on adapting our theories as well. So you can't ignore it all around the world. And one of the reason, I'll tell you secrets, why did Rwanda was in my to visit list since long time because of the rank of Rwanda in women issues. So since 10 years, it was always one of my targets is to visit these countries that are on top World Economic Forum and the gender gap issues such as Iceland, Rwanda, and these countries to learn from their best practices. So this was one of the main reasons that let me visit Rwanda at the beginning. Because if a country can do good things for women, that means that they can do anything else.
Oh.
So if you have a good rank in gender gap reports that you try to close it in gender things, that means, and the other things also you can close these gaps, because this is one of the most difficult gaps to close that even lots of developed Western countries until today they can't close it. You can't say that Rwanda has closed it or any other country in the world. There are always these gaps are there in different areas, but there are always best practices and you've done a better job.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dunia. How do you link women empowerment with the gender equality? Do you think they are the same or there are some differences?
I don't use equality at all. I use equity. Equality is unfair. Being equal, for example, if I say now all of us are equal in this table and all of us have to have a black coffee without sugar and without milk, it's equal. This is equality. But is this what I want and you want and he wants? I want it without sugar, you want it with sugar, someone has diabetes, you want it with milk. So that's mean always equality. The word equality, it means it's unfair. So, but we want equity. If we are going to have now a break, we should equally have the right to take the break, but what to do with it, it should be different. So when I talk about gender things, we are talking mainly about men and women only, number one.
Yes.
We are talking about equity. We should have the same rights, the same access, and then equal opportunities. Here when it comes equality and the opportunities. But then according to our differences, then we are going to have and how we react and work harder, then we get the chances there. So yes, there are. So I use always equity.
Okay. So I hope our followers will at least grasp the concept. So you have done your best to make it clear. Dr. Dunia, you are also dealing with programs of poverty elimination, and you are doing projects in different countries like Ghana, Mauritania, Even in Rwanda, you have established their projects. Can you also do other projects can you do other projects in developed countries, maybe to show them a model how they can sustain their development?
This is our aim and target. Let's do it more and more to try really to eliminate it. You can't demolish poverty at all in the world. I mean, this since the beginning of the nations it was there. But you always can reduce and eliminate it, and you can see how the world, I mean, the world tried hard to change the type of things. For example, we can say that before hundreds of years there was slavery, now there is no slavery, but there is a different type of slavery. It's not the same old type, it's in a different type, it's there. So we don't want to change the type of poverties that we are having, and this is some of the solutions. They give an amount of, for example, few dollars. If you're under this, you're under poverty. But then for us counting poverty, also you count your quality of life, your health, your other assets that you have. So even how we define poverty makes us different, and then how we try to eliminate it. I mean, in lots of countries that they say that they don't have poverty are the most countries that they have poverty. It's not only what I earn will make me under poverty or not in poverty. I don't know if I make it easier or more complicated.
Okay, thank you. I will try your best to explain it. Poverty is of many. There are different types of poverty. I hope is just targeting to eliminate all sorts of poverty, or it's one poverty? Because there are multidimensional poverty. I hear Dr. Muhammad saying about it. So, is it all types of poverty, or one, or not all of them?
Of course, what makes us, and when I started this interview, that we are thinking as a multidisciplinary work, that we are trying to act for all type dimensions poverty. And here, what makes us different than other? For example, economists will think of it as one type. It's how much you earn. It's $2. Yes, you are under $3. $1.50. It's like this. Just you're counting what you earn. And on social aspects, maybe we are seeing it only from social perspective and having family, while we are thinking of it all as an all. And this is what I was trying. So if I don't tackle all type of poverties, I can't even count the wealth that you have. So then from there we can answer it or solve it or eliminate it.
Okay,
to make
thank
it
you,
better.
Dr. Dunia. Dr. Emmanuel, do you have anything to add before we conclude our podcast session?
Yes, well, thank you. On terms of poverty elimination, I think Rwanda is trying the best. And well, even if we still have a lot of number of poor people, in terms of millions even, as far as the GDP per capita of Rwanda is still low, $2,300 per year. We cannot, of course, compare with other countries, but as the Rwandan leader almost says, we have to compare ourselves. Always says, we have to compare ourselves with developing, highly developing or developed nations, not lagging behind nations like Singapore, like Qatar, like Bahrain, like any other country, or Botswana or somewhere else. So this means that we have to learn a lot. How do we fight against poverty? We have different approaches. As I said, the developmentalist approach. Yes, we create industry, manufacturing industry. We create universities, school. People have to go to school and learn. Rwanda now have 12 years basic education, and the school enrollment is going high, and women are pioneering in science and technology now. And we have a lot of women now very active in different sector, construction sector, engineering, and those women, most of them were poor, even in transport. women can drive buses, they can drive motorbikes in the Kigali city and elsewhere. And most of those women were very poor before. There is 1 year, maybe 2018, I don't remember where all 1 million people were moved from poverty up to the development trend. And Rwanda then should be a very good motto, and I think SIAS and our podcast program will continue to enlighten the different approaches of socio-economic development basing on worldwide models, but also Rwanda models in terms of development. I think I have to thank you also to have invited us in this where organized the podcast for communicating to the world what we do and what others can learn from SIAS and what we can learn from them as well. So we wish feedback and communication through our website and different programs so that we know the feedback of our audiences also and what we can learn from them and what we can or continue to give them so that they learn from us as well. Thank you very much for that opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel, and thank you, Dr. Dunia. I hope that soon, inshallah, we will also have another podcast to tell our followers all about SIAS, all about the situation economy, all about resilience economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.